Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
30-yard line, the 20, the 10. Touchdown!
Have you done your bracket yet?
I've not done my bracket, but can I tell you what I'm going to do in the bracket challenge this year?
Aren't you picking like Alabama State or something?
Well, yeah, that's my bit.
Okay.
But what I'm going to do in the Dave Campbell's bracket challenge is I'm going to submit Hank's bracket, and I'm going to title my bracket Hank Tepper age 6, so that anybody who loses to me will have lost very clearly to a 6-year-old.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's better than Adam titling his bracket, if I don't win, you're fired.
Tep Stepp, your premium Texas high school football podcast from your friends at Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. I am the Tep, Greg Tepper.
And I'm the Stepp, Matt Stepp.
Thank
Happy
you.
St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Thanks for being a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber and listening to this podcast, or waiting until 48 hours from now when you can watch it on our YouTube.
Wednesday freeloaders. The Wednesday off-season freeloaders.
Yeah, Wednesday. This is the ultimate disrespect, is if you're watching this on Wednesday and you're not paying us.
Yes.
Because it's
I
come
agree.
on, we are out here
We are out here grinding
on this off-season content for you.
Yeah, giving you something to talk about.
Please subscribe. TexasFootball.com/subscribe.
We were in the middle of magazine season. If you subscribe, we'll mail you your magazine early.
That's the real sell now. It's like we've kind of Texan Life still hitting per usual.
Texan Live hits all the time.
All the time. But like right now, the real pitch is we're working on the magazine. Like you wwrote capsules today?
I did write some capsules today.
There you go.
I can break down.
Who'd you write? Here's a weird.
I can give you a strong breakdown of the Naaman Forest Rangers out of Garland.
Well, let's
ISD.
go.
Yeah. 6 starters on offense and 7 on
Love
defense,
that.
returning from a playoff team last year.
Yeah, they were a playoff
Jesse
team.
Perales did a great job. Keep an eye on sophomore wide receiver safety Brody Perales.
See, I wonder if there's any relation.
Could be.
I wonder. This is
Other players to. Oh, sorry, never mind. I was going to get into other prospects.
top sophomore.
I've already written down the capsule. So
this is your March off-season edition of Tep and
So we were
Stepp.
talking about that off camera. That there's 5 off-season episodes that are. We have to work to put together some stuff. Coaching changes help, but we're at the top. It's all downhill after this. We are cruising after
kind of
this.
cruising to 7-on-7. We'll have plenty of other stuff to talk about because we'll also have more info from the coaches right now. This is the last. This is the last hurdle, I think, big hurdle.
Yeah.
And here, jumping over that hurdle with us, is our producer, regular size VNA Moreno. Hi, VNA.
What's up, guys?
Happy St.
How's it
Patrick's
going?
Day.
Yeah.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
The lovely and talented VNA Moreno.
Yeah.
in the
Representing-
house.
That's right. She's
Lake
representing
Dallas.
LD.
She is representing Lake Dallas.
That's right.
We had a discussion about the Falcons. I'm just saying, I think Coach needs to bring VNA in for a pep talk this offseason because I don't think Miss Moreno is very happy with the Falcons'
hype 'em up.
performance.
I'll hype up these
interesting.
guys.
Are you going to rip him a new one? You're just going to scream and start throwing things?
Yes.
Okay.
This is your Wednesday. Wednesday. Well, your March. It's not even Wednesday. That's so wrong.
Yes.
It's not even. Anyway, this is your March preview edition of Tep and Stepp. We do thank you for being a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. Coming up here in just a moment, some headlines from across the state. We're going to talk some coaching changes, et cetera, and then we're going to play a game that I made up.
How many hours ago did you make the game up?
A few hours ago, buddy, called Rebuild or Reload. And we're going to talk about some teams that have some key holes to fill.
Sure.
But whether or not we think they're going to reload and be right back at it, or if we feel like they're going to take a step back. So we will get into all that.
And I'll try to create a third category.
I love it.
I may.
Okay. Jeez.
Just make it difficult on you.
But first, Matthew, we will start as we always do with your Texas high school football fun fact of the week, presented by Community Coffee. Community Coffee supports and celebrates the thriving communities at the heart of Texas high school football. Community Coffee, strong is our roots. Discover more at communitycoffee.com.
You ready for pumpkin spice season? Community Coffee out here makes a mean pumpkin spice coffee.
So they do, and my wife likes it,
Pumpkin
but that's
spice
not my
season?
That's not my thing.
October, right?
It's also
the fall.
March.
But hey,
We just hit daylight savings.
hey,
dude.
Riley Dodge is already prepping for pumpkin spice season.
He stays. He stays.
Yeah, he stays ready.
Stays ready. Matt Stepp, your Texas high school fun fact of the week. We're probably not going to talk about one of the big news stories that broke over the weekend in the Texas high school football world. So we might as well talk about it here, and that is the death of Ken Hall, the Sugarland Express. I talked about him on TFT, and just a quick comment from you about it, because he is one of those guys. You and I have been around Texas high school long enough, but like, he's certainly before our time.
Sure.
But he's that guy who people would always say, like, he's on that short list of guys that's like, oh no, like, that's even from faraway times.
Yeah.
Like, he's a legend of Texas high
he
school
is.
football.
The fact that we know so much about a guy that played in the 50s, and really he's best known for his high school performances says all you need to know. I mean, this guy, think about the numbers that he put up, and he was in Class B, and at that time Class B didn't have a state champion. They only played 2 playoff games, so like the most games he could play in a season were 12, and still put up those kind of numbers. I'd be interested to see how unbreakable that record would be if Class B, if he played 2 or 3 more games per year.
Perhaps tune into Math Tuesday on Thursday.
Oh, that's a lateral tease right there.
Tease right there for you. So, Matt Stepp, your Texas high school football fun fact of the week, because we talked about Kenneth Hall, and I made this point on Twitter that I do think that his career rushing record, there's a chance that goes one day.
Sure, you get a guy that has a 4-year varsity player.
And they play 14, 15 games.
Yeah.
Just the numbers game, if he stays healthy and he just keeps grinding.
The Colin Wilder of running backs.
Absolutely,
you
yes.
know?
Just keeps going, plays 4 years at Seymour or something like that, and just keeps on grinding.
Plays in 4 state championship games.
Exactly right. It could happen. But I think 4,000 yards is an untouchable mark.
Even in a 16-game season, that's like over 300 yards per game, isn't it?
It's a lot. Matt Stepp, your Texas high school football fun fact of the week. Ken Hall is obviously number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Who are the other 4 running backs who comprise the top 5 single season rushing yards record?
Single season.
Okay. We're not going to go by when Jonathan Gray and Traylon Sherry, the only 2 to get to 10,000, which is nuts, by the way. Take a minute. This guy played 70-something years ago.
Yeah.
And he's still got these, like, probably the 2 gold standard records in Texas high school football. That's insane. Wow. But who fills out the rest of the top 5 in all-time single-season Texas high school football rushing?
Cedric Benson on there?
Cedric Benson is not. Cedric Benson is 9th on that list.
Okay.
35-26 in 1999. What a monster he was.
Yeah, he was really good. 3,500.
Think about that. Think about Cedric Benson, who I think played probably 15 games that year.
15 or 16, yeah. They won state in the last 3 years, yeah.
So,
Bye, China.
Bye, China.
China's leaving.
Bye, China.
Bye, everyone. So it's not Cedric Benson, okay.
Strike 1.
Gerard Douglas from Converse Judson.
No. That's a very good guess. He's on the he never broke 3,000 yards, but he is on the career record because he
had 4 years.
Of being great.
Dang, okay.
Strike 2. Which, by the way, another thing about this that I think is amazing is that Ken Hall not a running back.
No, he was a quarterback.
Quarterback in the single wing.
Yeah. Okay, let's go with Rodney Thomas from Groveton.
Rodney Thomas clocks in at number 5. 3,700 yards in 1990. He was awesome.
He was. He had an awesome career at A&M, too.
Can I give you a hint?
Sure.
The final 3 all happened in the same season.
Oh, that's crazy. Is Traylon Shedd on that list? Because they did win a state championship his senior year.
Traylon Shedd is not. Traylon Shedd
No?
in 2007 went for 28-10.
Oh.
The other, so number one,
Only 20. I'm like, 28-10. What a scrub. Man.
number 5, Rodney Thomas.
Okay.
Number 4, a member of Let's Remember Some Guys All-Star team, Joseph Sadler from Divine in 2011
yeah.
ran for 38.87.
And I think he only did that in 11 games.
2011 as
12,
well.
11 or 12 games.
With one more yard, Jonathan Gray, who ran
Okay.
for 38.88
See, I
in
thought that was.
2011.
I was going to guess Gray. I thought that was too obvious, especially since Benson wasn't on there.
And 2 yards more than Jonathan Gray in that same season. Trey Williams at Spring Decaney.
Oh, yeah. They won a state championship.
They did.
Yeah.
They won a state championship with a team. It was a good team, but boy, they built that whole plane out of Trey Williams.
Yeah. What do people remember most about the game? Trey Williams or the golf cart?
The golf cart was tough.
Yeah.
Coach Amendola took a tumble, but champion. Anyway, there it is. Your Texas High School fun fact of the week. R.I.P. to Ken Hall. Legit. One of those guys that's like one of the goats.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like on the Mount Rushmore of Texas high school football. You know,
I would agree.
Anyway, so let's get some coaching changes from across the state of Texas. And let's go ahead and start with something that you broke today here on TexasFootball.com. So this is some late breaking news. And that is what's happening in Huntsville. So Huntsville has been looking for a new head coach, and they have found one. It is technically like he technically stepped down from one job to move to the other, but Lockhart is open because Todd Mabus is going to move over and be the head coach at Huntsville.
Yeah, this is an interesting hire. I think Huntsville's a really attractive job. Like talking to coaches, there were a lot of people that are interested in this job. One high school town, been very good recently. Played in a regional final just 2 years ago. They had a freshman quarterback last year, so you got a quarterback for the next 3 years. Brand new facilities, brand new stadium. A lot to like about the Huntsville job. Maybe he had some up and down years at Lockhart, and Lockhart, the talent kind of ebbs and flows there. But if you look at what he did at Abilene Cooper, his first head coaching stint, I mean, he took Abilene Cooper to the regional semifinals 5 out of 7 years he was there. Like 5 times in 7 years, and they went toe to toe with Aledo, and a couple times took Aledo to the mat. So did a very good job at Abilene Cooper. Did a good job at Lockhart. I mean, Lockhart did win a playoff game in 2022, so he did some good things at Lockhart. Time to move on. And Huntsville's just a better job. Like just to be totally truthful here, Huntsville's a better job than Lockhart. And there's some connections there. Todd Mabus is from Katy. A lot of the administration in Huntsville ISD has Katy connections, so there's always a connection somewhere. There's your connection. Mabus, a Katy grad, coached at Katy, as a young coach. There's some administration in Huntsville from Katy. There's your hook.
It's interesting. It does open up the job at Lockhart. You mentioned Lockhart's one of those. Lockhart feels like one of those jobs where they always feel like they're one piece away.
Remember that Ashton Dickens a couple years ago? They were really good.
Sometimes they'll have like an awesome quarterback, or sometimes they'll have like a great defense, but it feels like they haven't been able to put it all together all at once.
Yeah, they just moved up. So they just moved to Division I this past year. They're in a really tough district. They're in that district of Pflugerville, Weiss, and A&M Consolidated. So moving up to Division I and getting put in a tough district hurts. I think they're going through some growing pains. That growth there south of Austin is kind of starting to hit Lockhart now, but they haven't really got it in athletics right now. So they're struggling with numbers. They're kind of in a transitional period with some of their just the town and the school and the community. So great barbecue there. The superintendent offered to take on your third interview, I guess, which is your final interview. Whoever gets the job, he's taking them out for barbecue.
That's
so
not bad.
It's a perk.
Yeah, exactly
It's
right.
a perk. And by the way, for the record, on its best day, Smitty's is the best barbecue in Lockhart. Okay. Now, they're a little inconsistent, but when Smitty's is rolling, the OGs know. The real ones know.
Okay. Another breaking news story on TexasFootball.com. Waco University is looking for
about
a coach.
an hour old. Who broke that? Yeah.
Caron Johnson is going to join the staff there at Baylor for Dave Aranda, which opens up a really... It is wild to say this historically about Waco University, like the last 20 years or so, but like suddenly a very attractive job in Central Texas.
Yeah.
Dude, remember when Waco U was like...
They were on a really long losing streak.
Consensus, one of the like most downtrodden programs.
It started with Kent last year. He came in and really turned that program around. His last year, they went to the area playoffs his last year. Johnson's come in back-to-back 7-4 seasons there at University. They obviously have London Smith that everyone knows about, the star wide receivers committed to Baylor. Now, I'm interested, is K'Ron Johnson in with London Smith's commitment to Baylor, what does that do? I think Baylor's got to put Coach Johnson in order to continue to recruit him in an on-field role. So I'll be interested to see how that works with just the recruiting, because Coach Johnson, I believe, is going to have like a high school relations job, but also kind of be an assistant D-line coach. So will he be on the field? Be interesting to see. No, I've already had some coaches contact me about University that just in the hour that it's been open have reached out and kind of asked about the job. So it's turned into a job nobody wanted, and now it's a job that a lot of people want.
I mean, I remember
their district. They got Brenham in their district, which, by the way, Brenham is going to be really good next year. But other than that, I think University can finish second and host. They hosted a playoff game last year, so it's a decent gig. They've done both Waco ISC jobs are open. Waco High hired Esfrin Martinez, and now University's open.
I mean, this is a program that from 2014 to 2021 had 5 winless seasons.
Yeah,
and now Kent Lasser and K'Ron Johnson have turned this thing into people are after this job. People would like to get in University.
Got some calls about it already in the hour that it's been open.
That's because the talent is there. Let's talk about Burleson Centennial. Okay. Burleson Centennial came open because Kyle Geller retired.
Got promoted to assistant AD.
Assistant AD. Got moved into administration. They have promoted defensive coordinator Blake Meyer to there. He's a guy who is a lifer there, basically at Burleson. He's been there the entirety of the existence of the school.
Yes, he's been there. He was Coach Geller's right-hand man.
Yeah, ground up, they promote him. That feels like there was... This is my spidey sense, okay? And you tell me if I'm way off.
All right.
The fact that it wasn't an immediate hire makes me think that they were shopping or that they were at least taking applications and wanted to see what applications came in. But knowing full well we have a quality in-house candidate and we can do it. Is my read on this correct?
Yeah. I mean, I know for a fact there were 2 guys who have state championships on their resume that were in the mix in this job, and Blake Meyer beat them out. So, credit, I think Burleson doing their due diligence and goes through their process, and Kevin Ozzie, I said it, he likes a splashy hire. This is not the splashy hire. This is the
Tep Stepp special is what it is. This is the guy who knows the program.
They've been winning,
and their defense has been very good.
Yeah, they've been winning, and so this is let's reward success. But I think they did their due diligence. They talked to some guys who had the big resumes, and in the end, I think they felt like this was the right move. So, in the end, I think because they've been winning, you always when you have a program that's been winning and been successful, your lean is always promote from within. Now, in this case, I thought Ozzie would at least consider a more splashy hire, but they went with they ran the ball on 3rd and 1 and got the first down.
Yeah.
So
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay. Which there's no way to transition to this. Brownwood. We can have a conversation as to whether or not it's broke or not. But I will tell you this. I think, we talked about this a lot on the last episode of Tep and Stepp.
Sure.
I think the process at Brownwood stinks. And also, I think they ended up making a pretty darn good hire in Gerald Brixey, the offensive coordinator from Katy.
This guy's been Gary Joseph's right-hand man for like 10 years.
So
I think Gary Joseph knows coaches, so I think Coach Brixey's a quality coach.
I think if you were to remove the context, you would say, oh, hey, look, Brownwood hired a really good coach, and he should do some great things. The context, though, I think really matters, and that, to me, is the real question here. Is a lot of what Coach Brixey's going to have to do is beyond X's and O's. A lot of what he's going to have to do is help to kind of, I don't want to say heal a community because that's too much to put on one guy. Yeah. But that's one of the things. Mend fences. Yeah. He's going to have to do that in a community.
There's hurt feelings there.
Yeah, because of what happened with Sammy Burnett. And that's what's fascinating to me about this, because I don't think there's any doubt this guy knows ball. Like, there's no doubt about that.
He's been a head coach in the area. He was a head coach at Comanche for 5 years. I know the record isn't sparkling, but at a place like Comanche, if you're either going to have the groups or you're not going to have the kids. If you don't have the kids, it's going to be tough to win. And they went through some lean years, and I think he's obviously a ball coaching Jack. He's
Yes.
been at Katy. He's been at Euless Trinity. He's been at North Shore. Like, the guy can coach football. What I'm really interested, just from a schematic standpoint, is Brownwood's been a spread team for a long. I mean, we're talking. They were one of the early adopters of the spread. They kind of had to compete with Art Briles and Stephenville being innovators in the spread, and they kind of had to ditch the wing tee in the mid '90s and go to the spread as well to compete with Stephenville. So they've been running the spread for 30 years under Steve Freeman, Bob Shipley, and then under Sammy Burnett. They've basically been a spread team for a long time, and so Katie's not a spread team. You know, they're not decidedly not spread.
What an
hashtag
understatement
analysis
of the
right
year.
there. Yeah, that's the kind of quality analysis you come to Tep and Stepp
Katy,
for right there.
not a spread team.
So I would imagine they're going to run some version of Katie's offense, which is, you know, a lot of I formation, a lot of one back, under center, play action. So how will Brownwood? From what I understand, they do have some good young groups coming up. But so there's going to be an adjustment period, I think, to that offensive scheme. So
But I will also say that, like, there is I want to say this carefully. There's a non-zero number of people in Brownwood who are going to say, finally, getting back to basics,
getting back to
old school football.
Yeah.
Be like,
Gordon Woods over there turning over his grave, running his 4 wide sets.
we're putting out 5 wide receivers. What's this empty set?
We're going to run trap.
Speaking of offenses, if you like, so the center Rough Riders have become accustomed to offense.
Yes,
they have
putting up some points.
Put up big numbers over the past few years. Huge numbers. Because Ricky Joe Meeks is now leaving to go back to Henderson out east. I would say that there is ample reason to believe that the points parade will continue in center, as they had hired Aubrey offensive coordinator Nick Brown, because I also think of points when I think of Aubrey.
Yeah. No, Aubrey switched. Aubrey was wing T until this year, and then they switched to the spread offense. And Brown, you know, it's kind of what he grew up running, and he you know, his young coaching days. So, and Aubrey took to it very well. Had a great season, giving Salina a really good game. Some center folks, I think, are a little bit concerned. You know, you're in Deep East Texas, and you're hiring a career Metroplex guy. I think it could go one of two ways. You know, I think they're you know, if it goes well, he could absolutely parlay that into. But I think an East Texas guy would do the same thing. You know, the center is just in one of those places where they can be kind of a stepping stone job. I think you just hoping he can get you can get at least 2 or 3 good years out of him and go from there. I think the interesting thing about Nick Brown was, when I talked to him, Aubrey played center in the playoffs 2 years ago and won an absolute triple overtime thriller at Rose Stadium. And he called his wife on the bus ride home from the game and said, "I would like to coach there. I really liked how their kids played. They played hard. It'd be a cool place to coach." And now he's the head coach.
Sure enough.
So,
yeah, just manifesting.
Honey, we're moving to center.
And we're manifesting.
Yeah.
Center, also not in the center of Texas.
Decidedly not in the center of Texas.
It's on the right side. Like, if you're looking at the maps, on the right side.
If you basically go to Louisiana and throw a rock, you're in center.
You're in center, yeah.
I think it's like the center of Shelby County.
Oh, is that what it comes
I think
from?
that's where it comes down. Yeah. I need to ask Gabe. That's Gabe Brooks' territory right there. I need to ask him about that.
The headline on TexasFootball.com was "Truth to Rumors," because there were. Let's talk about some.
Listen, Will Wilkerson is a poet with the headlines.
Let's talk about there was some buzz around this.
Yeah.
So New Caney has been looking for a head coach. New Caney's been looking for a head coach.
Mike DeWitt went to Saginaw.
Exactly right. They have found one in Sheldon Benight, the head coach at Galveston Ball, making the move from the coast a little bit more inland there to New Caney. It's a great get, because obviously he
did a heck of a job at Galveston Ball.
Really impressive. And I think there are going to be I think I put this about Texas football today. There are going to be people who look at that and be like, "Oh, well, yeah, of course you can coach because you got Jonah Williams." You know what I mean? It's like, that's nice. But, like, go look at, like, the recent history of
that was
Galveston
a slow build.
Ball.
They improved every year he was there.
Yeah.
So really did a good job.
He absolutely did. And so now he goes to New Caney. I think the Galveston Ball job is really interesting.
It is. They've gotten gutted though. You know, they lost a really big senior class. They lose their coach, and now then your quarterback
goes back to Clear
Falls. So this might be a little bit of a rebuild for G-Ball there in District 9 5A Division 1. I was kind of already making my 9 5A Division 1 kind of map and seeing who's going to pick to win the district. And
it's like, March 17th.
I've never denied that I'm a sicko.
Go on.
I'm going to go Lufkin 1. I'll make that a premium article, sir. Brooke, if you're listening, it's going to be premium content on the site.
God.
So they're going to struggle this year. It's going to be tough. Like, they're going to be down. Like they graduated a lot, new head coach, and then your best returning player leaves. So tough scene there for the Tornadoes.
Okay. One of the biggest small school jobs in the state has been filled. And Mart, of course, came open. We talked about this in the last episode when Kevin Hoffman announced his retirement.
Kevin Hoffman and his white Titleist hat retired.
Man, that is so true. That man loves a white Titleist hat.
Does.
I bet he's playing a lot of golf. Anyway, led him to 3 state championships, 2 other title game appearances. Like a truly... like
a remarkable run,
almost peerless set of results there during his tenure as a head coach at Mart. For the first time in what feels like, when's the last time they went outside of
it's
Mart?
been a long time. I mean, you went maybe when they hired, was it Terry Cron?
Maybe
because he was at Commerce and he went to Mart.
And he won a title there.
He did, yeah. Terry Cron.
So
Terry Cron, Rusty Nail. The best
Rusty
name.
Nail. Rusty
Nail or Mike Sports. Yeah,
exactly right.
And then Hoffman. And so this is the first outside hire in a while.
As they hire Robinson head coach Chris Lancaster, and this is a dude's rock hire. This is on that list of names where, again, there's a group of people, or there are people who are maybe casuals who are going to be like, Chris Lancaster.
If you're a ball knower,
knowers are like sounding the alarms. It's like, this is a great hire.
He did a great job at Little River Academy. He comes into Robinson, a tough situation. Robinson had been on 3 head coaches in 3 years, and I criticized Robinson just for the way they ran out the coach prior to Lancaster. Nothing against Lancaster. It was just the way they treated I thought they gave the previous head coach a raw deal. But Lancaster comes in there and turns them around and gets them. I mean, they were 8-3 this year. Beat Glen Rose, had a great year. And he said, Robinson, let me tell you, they're going to be really good next year. They got the Bryce McCurdy kid. I guarantee you Mallory and Greg Powers have watched some huddle tape on that guy. He's a stud. So he left Robinson a lot better than he found it. And now he walks into Mart. And I think what's one thing missing from his resume? It's probably a state championship. And I think he goes into Mart. And all due respect to Robinson, I just don't think you're going to win a state championship at Robinson. I mean, you'd have to have a lot go right. Mart, they're built to
you
win
start
state
right now as the Region 3 favorite at least.
So I think that's the biggest thing for him is the only thing left on his resume is to try to win a state championship, and I think he's gonna go to Martin. He's gonna have them in the mix.
Let's talk a little bit about if I were to tell you that the head coach at Fort Stockton was taking the job at Cy Woods, and you were to map those two things out, it would make you a little bit crazy.
Yeah,
but
I remember when I kind of
Jeremy Hickman is going to be the new head coach of Cy Woods. It actually makes more sense than you
it does. But when I teased it out, I was like, "Oh, West Texas coach is gonna." And Clint Hartman calls me. He's like, "Why is my phone ringing about Cy Woods?" And I'm like, "It's like West Texas is a big place, coach. Like, what do you Sorry, like I tried to be as generic as possible, but also let people know that I do know it. That's kind of the dance that I have to play here." And I was like, West Texas. I mean, it could have been big. Hey, Hartman, he was like, my phone's ringing off the hook. And I was like, come on, coach. So, it's Jeremy Hickman. Number one, I know he's sad he's leaving Taco's OJ.
That's
Taco's
tough.
OJ in Fort Stockton, let me tell you.
Tough scene.
Yeah, but he's got ties to Cy Woods. He was there when the program got started. He was a defensive assistant there, moved up to defensive coordinator for a couple of regional finalist teams. They had a big upset of Dallas Skyline in the playoffs. 1 year, Reggie Samples had Skyline rolling, and they beat Skyline in the regional semifinal, got to the regional final twice. So he's familiar with the place. And I also didn't realize that the Cy-Fair ISD AD, Virginia Flores, she was the girls' basketball coach at Cy Woods when Jeremy Hickman was an assistant coach there. So again, there's always a connection. Woods had Hickman had a connection to Cy Woods, and he has a connection to the AD. So makes a lot of sense there. He did a great job at Fort Stockton. Like I think somebody on Twitter was like saying, "Oh, this is a pretty basic hire." I was like, he goes 25-9 at Fort Stockton. I'm like, what the hell do you want from the guy? Like, he did a great job at Fort Stockton, and he's got ties to Cy Woods. I think it's a good hire.
I think it is too.
I think he's going to bring energy. He's going to have them. Cody Semper did a great job at Cy Woods, and I think Hickman understands the culture at Cy Woods and is going to do a great job.
Copper's Cove is open. Tony Johnson is moving into Copper's Cove ISD administration.
Yeah, I think he's going to manage the facilities, is what I was told, I believe.
Which leaves open a really interesting job. And I guess my question is, do you want to report right now that Robert Griffin III is the leading candidate to take over his alma mater?
I don't. That'd be a big story, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it be good?
RG3. That would get some numbies.
RG3 and I follow each other on Twitter, so you can DM me.
Okay.
RG3, I know you're watching.
Yeah.
Just get in the DMs.
Just let me know. This is Copper's Cove. Ever since Jack Welch left, who coached RG3 and Peanut Tillman and a lot of other NFL guys at Copper's Cove, since he left, there just has not been a lot of stability there. I think Copper's Cove's got to kind of re-image their athletic department. They've basically their AD, their football coach, just haven't been seen on the same page since Jack Welch left. I think the key is you got to kind of restructure that thing and get an AD. I think they're doing a boys-girls AD thing, but they just got to get that synergy back with their football coach and their athletic department and kind of get things, because Copper's Cove is a one-school ISD that can really be great if they get everything flowing in the right direction. And I know it's tough. They're in a military community. There's a lot of transient things that that a lot of schools don't deal with because of the influence of the military there at Fort Cavazos. But if you can get it right at Copper's Cove, you can get it right and do some big things. Copper's Cove is not that far removed from being a team that played in back-to-back state championship games. I mean, we're talking, 12 years ago now, but I can remember Copper's Cove being a problem every year in the playoffs. So if they can get it right, and they haven't gotten it right, they just they've hired Jack Alvarez was the coach there for a year, but it's just been that turnover. They haven't had stability.
Speaking of a little unstable, I don't remember the last time that I saw what happened in Edinburgh happen, which is at the same time.
Yeah,
Edinburgh Consolidated ISD announces coaching changes at two of their schools.
Yes,
like in the same press release, basically.
Yeah, it was the same time, same day. They reassigned both coaches on the same day
at Edinburgh and Edinburgh North.
They hired both coaches. By the way, just for full transparency, I offered up my search firm services, the Tep Stepp search firm. Tepper and I did offer. We were willing to go. We were willing to make the sacrifice and go to Edinburgh. And assist with the search
and sit there for. I mean, it was going to be a lengthy search.
3 to 4 weeks.
I would think so. Yeah, but they never called it back.
Yeah. I mean, we were really disappointed. Actually, I understand Edinburgh would not take our call because we're a couple of idiots.
Very true.
But they did. I think they made good hires here. You look at Edinburgh High, and they hire Coach Pena from Weslaco, the offensive coordinator there. Weslaco is amongst the most consistent programs in the RGV. So you bring in an offensive coordinator there, and then a really savvy hire at Edinburgh North. I think Rigo Morales did a really underrated job at Bishop. Got them to the area playoffs, moving up to Class 4A. They went back to 3A this last alignment, but he's done a good job there at Bishop. So Edinburgh North hires Rigo Morales there for their head coaching job, which opens up a job on the Coastal Bend there with the Bishop Badgers.
We talked about this last time with Bernie. Bernie was looking for a new head coach. I borrowed your phrase on Twitter that I said, layups are still worth 2 points.
That's right.
There's no reason to go outside here. And they promote Brett Sawyer, their defensive coordinator, which, yeah.
Well, and their other coordinator, David Wilkinson, got the San Antonio McCollum job. So Bernie's had a lot of coaching turnover with losing their head coach. Their defensive coordinator gets promoted head coach. Their offensive coordinator takes a head coaching job. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And you're right, layups are worth 2 points as we get into March Madness. It was going to be I thought it was either going to be Wilkinson or Sawyer. It ended up being Sawyer, and Wilkinson, great guy, got the San Antonio McCollum job.
Tell me about Aldine Eisenhower. Odell James left after 2 seasons there.
Aldine ISD legend, yeah.
Yeah, leaves after 2 seasons. They are still looking for a coach? Or
they have not hired yet.
I was going to say.
As of yet, they have not hired a new head coach.
It's an interesting job there at Ike. We when they're rolling, they can that is one of the Aldine schools that I think can really break through.
Yeah, they have. They haven't. I think Coach James done a better job of kind of retaining the talent there, and there's a lot of open enrollment schools that kids can go to down there. So keeping the Ike kids at Ike is key for whoever gets that job.
Finally, Grand Prairie's been looking for a new head coach. Tony Tatamy suddenly passed away, really sadly. They have landed Kenshi Ross, the head coach at WT White in Dallas ISD. So he is moving a little bit across the Metroplex to the mid cities.
Yeah, right. Grand Prairie's great facilities there in the middle, right there off I-30. Great indoor facility. Kenshi Ross did a great job there at WT White, and he's a Chris Gilbert guy. Coached at Lancaster for a while. I think I put it in my article. You know who he replaced he's a Terrell alum. And you know who he replaced at quarterback at Terrell?
Oh, a gentleman
he was
with a different name.
He replaced Eric Bishop. Quarterback at Terrell.
Eric Bishop, a legend there.
It actually really was a really good
He was
football
really,
player.
really good. VNA, do you know who Eric Bishop is? Terrell quarterback Eric Bishop.
I do not.
You might know him by his other name, which is Jamie Foxx.
What?
Yeah, he's a quarterback at Terrell.
What?
Jamie Foxx. He's
wow.
I think really good quarterback.
I think
at Terrell.
his picture is in the Dave
It is.
Campbell's. Yeah, his mugshot is in Dave Campbell's magazine.
Yeah, and then he won an Oscar.
Yeah.
So
Kenshi Ross was the quarterback after.
He was the guy after the guy.
He was the guy after the guy. Yeah,
right.
which is his claim to fame.
We got to book him
cool.
and ask him about it.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I know he was from Terrell, but I didn't know that. And he told me that when I interviewed him.
Backing up an Academy Award winner.
Yeah.
Anyway,
a couple of hires happening this week. It's gonna be a busy week. A lot of schools are coming back from spring break. So tomorrow, Tuesday, look for Fulshear to hire.
Ooh.
I believe this is going to be an internal Lamar inside of Lamar Consolidated ISD hire.
Okay.
So that'll be Tuesday. Woodrow Wilson, speaking of Dallas ISD, is hiring this week. I expect a state championship winning assistant. They didn't win state this year, but he's won 3 state championships as an assistant coach to get the Woodrow Wilson job. DFW guy.
These are step teasers.
Yes, and then I do expect Mansfield Timberview to be hiring here fairly soon. I expect a current DFW head coach.
Okay,
so that'll open up another job there at Mansfield Timberview. So,
and there's I'll
tell you off the air who's getting those jobs.
There's all your step teases for this week. All right, folks.
Insert the Chris Farley tease.
All right. We are now going to matriculate onto America's new favorite game show, which is Rebuild or Reload. And by America's new favorite game show, I mean came up with this segment like a couple hours ago because it's March.
Just needed content.
It's March. We need some content. All right. So here's because we're starting to get questionnaires rolling. We're starting to get coaches tell us. And by the way, coaches, thank you for sending it if you haven't. And if you haven't sent it in yet, come on. Gonna need that.
Need that questionnaire, coach, because
need that.
It's real when Tepper sicks me on. Well, first we sick me on him. And then we sick Padilla on you.
Yeah.
And you don't want Padilla.
If we get to if we have to break the glass and unleash Padilla.
Yeah, it's just
now you're in trouble
because he doesn't mind being annoying.
No. Hi, Carl.
I love you, Carl.
All right, so let's talk about a few teams that I think have really key holes to fill heading into 2025, and whether or not we think that they are going to be able to maintain what they've been doing recently, or if they're going to take a step back. And needless to say, by making this list, you've been pretty good recently, because otherwise, like, they wouldn't be huge holes to fill. You know what I mean?
If you're 1-9, we're not calling it a rebuild.
Absolutely,
You're just 1-9.
It's just a build. All right, so I've got 10 teams, and I want to get your take on how we
Tepper's
about
10.
Tepper's 10 about how we feel about them either maintaining or maybe taking a step back.
All right.
We're going to start out west with one of my all-time favorite players.
You're darling the past 3 years.
Armando Luan is off at Sunray. Sunray is going to be.
Did he sign anywhere?
No, and I told him, and I met him and his dad at the Billboard Tough Player of the Year banquet. I told him to keep us posted. Like, he said he was kind of getting some calls and stuff. So hopefully he'll land somewhere. He's too good to.
He'll get a shot somewhere.
Exactly right. Sunray, though, you lose one of the all-time, in fact, the state's all-time leading passer in Armando Luan. Rebuild or reload for Sunray?
Rebuild. They lost a lot. Not just Lujan. They lost a lot. This was their year. I saw them play. Their roster was loaded with seniors. So yeah, I think we're looking at a rebuild for Sunray.
I also think that at the 2A level, like, you lose the quarterback and a guy, by the way, not only a quarterback, he was also like a really good safety for them too.
Yes, he was.
So like you're losing 2 starters in one.
I think the couple of classes behind them are you get this in these really small schools where you may have a class that's just like really heavily skewed towards girls. You know, if you only have like 30 kids in your class and like 20 are girls, it can be tough on the football team. You know, so I think that's kind of what you have at Sunray. They have small classes behind them, and so it's gonna be tough.
All right, our first of a few state champions on this list.
All right,
Richmond Randall, because Randall's interesting to me because on one hand they bring back the headliner. They bring back Landon Williams-Callis, who will just be a junior next year. However, Chase Sims is gone. Keelan Sweeney is gone. A lot of these guys who were it's disrespectful to call them supporting cast. They were awesome for them and key parts of what made them a state champion. And by the way, they're going to have a new offensive coordinator too, with Brooks Hack going off to take over the job at Houston Memorial. Richmond Randall, rebuild or reload?
Reload.
Okay.
Yeah. So you still got Landon Williams-Callis. You're gonna have you add a stud linebacker in Pac-Man Dominguez who didn't play last year. He was ineligible. You talk about he's a 4-star linebacker. So you lose Chase Sims at D-line, but you add a 4-star linebacker in Noriel Dominguez. So I think Randall, they're super, super talented. They're going to be reloading in a brutal Region 3 in 5A Division 2. 5A Division 2 Region 3 is unbelievable.
And by the way, this is not for us saying like, oh, Richmond Randall's going to repeat. What we're saying, because they're coming out of
they're going to be a contender.
They're going to be a contender. Yep. Exactly right.
Yep,
they're going to fall off the face of the earth. All right. Next up, another state champion. Perhaps arguably, I guess did we ever name a pound-for-pound best team in Texas?
I think it was between
Columbus
was
and...
was it Columbus? Or was it, no, was it... I feel like it was a small school that was pound for pound.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
North Crowley defending 6A Division 1 state champs. I can rattle off the guys that they lose. They lose Quentin Gibson. They lose Chris Jemerson. They lose some of their awesome defenders.
Cornelius Warren, Daniel Bray.
They lose a ton of guys.
Henry Finucane.
Also lose their offensive coordinator, Eli Reinhardt, who's off to be the head coach at Hutto. But Ray Gates is the ball coach in Jack, and it's not like the cupboard is bare.
No.
North Crowley, rebuild or reload?
Reload. They're gonna be a contender. They'll be top. At minimum top 10, but I would probably say top 5 team preseason. They're going to be fine. It'll be a transition, but they're going to be really good.
Exactly.
They got guys waiting in the wings. They're talented.
Just to be clear, again, we're not saying North Crowley is a lock to go back to back. What we were saying is that we don't expect them to go suddenly from like 16-0 state champs to like 6-5.
They're not going to go 6-5 and finish 4th.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
No.
All right. A team that we have gotten to know over the past 2 years, and in 2023 when they won a state championship, we thought, boy, they're going to be right back there in 2024, and they were the Malakoff Tigers, who graduate some really key pieces, not the least of which is Mike Jones.
Yeah. Who?
Mike Jones.
Okay.
Malakoff, rebuild or reload?
Rebuild.
Okay.
They'll still be good.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're going to be this year a regional contender. I think the region this year is going to run through Deep East Texas. So I'm talking Jefferson, Liberty Ilo, kind of that part of East Texas more so than Malakoff this year. I think they're going to still be good. They could be a third round. I mean, it's not like when Malakoff before Mike Jones got there, they were barely scraped. They were a contender to go two or three deep every year. So
Malakoff won their first state championship in 2023. Let's talk about a team that won their first state championship in 2024, the Ganado Indians. Because remember, they are actually a really similar story to Malakoff in the sense of like they were really good in 2023 and they turned heads in 2023. Malakoff won title. Ganado made it to the state semifinals and got Terry Bussied. And we said, just wait till next year because we're bringing everybody back. Well, now we're the year after. Ganado, rebuild or reload?
Rebuild as well. I think they'll still be good.
That was a special senior class. I think
big
Josh Irvin would tell you too.
Big senior class. I think next year might be the year Refugio gets a lick back next year. I think Refugio might be the team to beat in Region 4.
Back to 6A. That's 2A. Back up to 6A. A team God knows we can't go 20 minutes without talking about them for the past, 8 years. Galena Park North Shore. They are losing their quarterback, Caleb Bailey. They are losing a number of outstanding weapons on the outside. A ton of receivers.
Hardiman. They lost a lot. Yeah.
They lost a lot. We also know that they are always talent rich. Galena Park North Shore, rebuild or reload.
Gonna go reload.
Okay.
Until I see North Shore fall off, I'm gonna say reload.
That's probably
I
right.
love Caleb Maryland.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in the trust tree.
Yeah.
We're in the trust tree.
Premium podcast.
Willie Gaston's way smarter than me. Knows ball. He's a ball knower. Just Matt Stepp here. I thought Caleb Maryland when he played was the better quarterback last year. I would have went with Maryland last year. I think he's that good. So we'll see. I think he's impressive. So
yeah, and they're also
they're gonna be fine.
And I think this also kind of leads into the team we're going to talk about next, because I feel similarly about Duncanville in the sense that you look at who Duncanville is losing. Okay, they're losing DeCorian Moore. Yeah. They're losing Keelan Russell. They're losing dogs.
Yeah,
okay?
you just can't go to the. I mean, I'm sure Coach Samples would like to go to the DeCorian Moore tree and go pick off another DeCorian Moore,
another all-time great wide receiver.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen. So and then Keelan Russell. I mean, it's. But I think Duncanville's the same way. Until proven otherwise, you give them the benefit of the doubt. So I'm going to go Duncanville reload.
So North Shore and Duncanville,
Duncanville's defense is going to be nasty next year.
I think they will be.
That's secondary, and then the two DNs they have, they're going to be really, really good.
So those are Duncanville and North Shore, two pretty brand names. I want to go a little bit off the board here.
Okay.
Go down to the coast.
Okay.
Corpus Christi Flower Bluff. Okay, Corpus Christi Flower Bluff. They are losing Jaden Pelucio, who among the more underrated players, I think.
UTRGV. Signed with UTRGV.
A super prolific quarterback there at Flower Bluff. Corpus Christi Flower Bluff.
And they lost a receiver that went. Dixon went to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Went to Vanderbilt. Yeah.
Rebuild or reload for the Hornets.
Gonna go rebuild.
Okay.
Flower Bluff. And they still be good, but they were a regional finalist last year before falling to Smithson Valley. I don't think they'll be quite at that level next year.
Another team that won their first ever state championship last year, and star power out the wazoo, including Mr. Texas football himself. The Columbus Cardinals were not just excellent, but they were also very, very senior heavy, especially at the skill spots. Yeah. Quarterback, running back with Grayson Rigdon, a number of key pieces on that defense as well.
Yeah.
Columbus, rebuild or reload?
Rebuild. Because the bar is so high.
Yeah.
I think Columbus will still be good. Braylon Fisher's back. Yeah. All 5 offensive linemen are back. But they've got such key. I mean, Adam Schobel was so good. At a school that size, it's a huge loss for them. So Columbus they'll still be good. I just don't think they're going to be a regional contender next year. So I'll say rebuild.
All right, and finally, last one from me.
All right.
An East Texas team that has been kind of building, got close, but was never able to finish the job with a special class. Chapel Hill is losing some key pieces.
Sure.
Ricky Stewart, Demetrius Brisbane, chief among them.
Jonah Reardon.
Shout out
Coach Reardon.
Jonah Reardon was really good.
He was.
Chapel Hill, rebuild or reload?
I'm going to say reload.
Okay.
Here's why. Yes, you lose Brisbane, you lose Ricky Stewart. Chapel Hill's got 10 starters back on defense. So they're going to be, now that the one they lost is really good. Trevor Brooks is a really good player.
He was really good.
But they got 10 starters back on defense. And I think Brisbane being out for a good portion of the season probably hurt at the time. But Malik G started like seven or 8 games this past year at quarterback. So they have an experienced quarterback back. So I think Chapel Hill, I think Kilgore's still a team to beat in Region 3. It wouldn't surprise me if Chapel Hill was right back in a regional final playing Kilgore in that rivalry that just continues to deliver for us. So just don't play that game in Forney this year. It's just weird playing that game in Forney.
Yeah, play that game in Tyler.
Tyler or Henderson or Jacksonville. Yeah. Have a tomato bowl. The Tomato Bowl.
The Tomato Bowl. It's right there.
Come on.
It's right there. Anyway, there it is.
We take V&A to the Tomato Bowl.
Our new game, Rebuild or Reload, and we certainly hope that you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you.
Yes.
I liked it.
Thanks, V&A. Speaking of
V&A. Are you taking notes?
Speaking of V&A, let's see what she wrote down.
I wrote down, you guys kept it pretty on the tracks, but...
What a ringing endorsement of this
V&A.
podcast from your producer.
Y'all did.
You guys mostly kept it on the tracks. Thanks.
Mostly. Y'all did.
Thanks, Mom.
I really did like that Rebuild or Reload. It was pretty cool.
Thanks.
I wrote them all down. I might make a couple graphics.
Make some graphics.
Hey, listen.
Tep and Stepp search firm.
Yeah, the Tep Stepp search firm.
Yes.
We will do that. But
We will only do it for Rio Grande Valley jobs.
Yeah, Rio Grande Valley, El Paso. I do for El Paso,
all
too.
right, all right.
Rio
Or
Grande Valley and El Paso.
Alpine,
and
if you open up again.
If Alpine opens up again, we will do it.
Dr. Reinhardt, hire us.
Give us a call. You got his number.
Yeah.
Yes. So we will do it only at places with awesome food.
Yes.
What else, VNA?
RG3, DM me, please.
Oh, yeah.
And then my favorite, Padilla. I wrote down Padilla, break the glass.
break glass on
Carl
Padilla. Carl's is behind us.
Carl's just behind us. We have to break the glass and unleash Carl Padilla to text you just incessantly.
Just to annoy the hell out of you.
Last one. Honey, we're moving to center. So
Yeah, honey, we're moving to center.
Can we? There's a funny Carl Padilla story though involving this show. Well, not this show, but Texas Football Today. When at coaching school, y'all went live.
Oh, we can pull this up.
There's video of Carl. You and Craven are sitting there talking, and Carl doesn't realize you're on the air, and he's like trying to bring a coach to you, and you're like, "We're on the air, Carl.
Yeah,
we're on the air."
Literally, it's like
funniest,
like a fresh-faced Greg Tepper talking with a fresh-faced
Craven.
Mike Craven.
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
Both pre-kids.
And Carl just old manning it behind you, just
Like,
not
come on,
realizing you're on
let's
the
go.
air.
It's like there's a camera
doing a
right
show here,
there.
Carl.
The camera's right there.
On the air, live.
What year do you guys think that is?
2016?
2016 maybe.
Coaching school, yeah. It was the year I got hired.
Yeah.
It was the year the Max Thompson, Matt Stepp, Greg Tepper summit meeting took place
That's
at
right.
coaching school.
Yes, that's right. Check out the Padilla poll.
Yeah,
There's some free advertising
Yeah,
for Carl. There you go. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your time with us. And Stepp, thanks for your courage.
Thanks. We'll see you in April.
See you in April on Tep and Stepp.